Edit. Just wanted to say thank you for all the great advice so far. I didn't think I would get this many replies. I am excited to read all of the advice to come. Edit 2. Okay. So I went to bed, and after refreshing my feed, I cannot believe how many of you have replied with such great advice. Story 1. 3 things. 1. Don't be intimidated by presentations. People are there because you have information they need or want. Own it and be confident. Don't get overly attached to a company. You are replaceable and the company is as well. A lot of adults do drugs. Story 2. Wow. So many tips. 1. Don't ever fully trust anyone. You are always being watched. Coworkers will always talk. Be careful who you confide in. Don't go out of your way to help a coworker who won't do the same for you. I know it sounds unkind, but I've had too many coworkers who used my help, got promoted, and never returned the favors. Always be professional. It's a job. Don't be overly loyal to a place that will fire you the second it makes sense for them. Do your job, but don't sacrifice relationships or health for it. It's not worth it. Don't talk negatively about anyone. If someone is gossiping about someone else to you, be sure they are gossiping about you to someone else. Don't be late. Make sure you understand exactly what the boss wants from you. I have had jobs where I thought I was excelling, only to find out they were far more in tune with what management wants. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Be consistent. 10. Be nice. Be polite. Be a team player, but know how to stand up for yourself when it's relevant. Story 3. Your boss is still your boss. Yes, they may be friendly, but they still have a responsibility over you. And most will take advantage of you to get what they want. Story 4. If your goal is to advance to director, vice president, or C-level, the job you were hired for is not your job. Your job is to get to director, vice president, or C-level. If your intention is to do your actual job as best as you can, then your cap is somewhere near middle management. Set your expectations and goals accordingly. Story 5. The concept of loyalty to the company in the corporate world is nonsense. Do not let the misleading talk about family deter you from moving on to better opportunities, especially if they will not match another offer. They do not care about you. Story 6. Lots of people are talking about backstabbing here. All I can say is that you will need to confirm every important detail via email. You will both thank yourselves a few months later. Also, talk to everyone. I have noticed that it's quite useful to know people's priorities and recent accomplishments. It's always better to be aware of things that are coming or going on. Story 7. 2 core points. 1. Look to upgrade your role and company as much as you can by looking externally. Attitude will get you far when starting out, even if your work is not on point. Regarding point 1, I work in an office environment and have since I was 22, almost 10 years now. I love it now, but I did not always. I worked for 3 years out of college in an environment I disliked. The company culture just was not great, but I focused on improving my situation by looking for relevant opportunities externally. Although I was promoted 3 times in this company, I was constantly looking for and applying to roles at top-tier technology companies. My interviews and applications failed a lot, but I was able to finally land a job at a top technology company doing marketing and tripled my income. I know people who still work at my old firm still make $50,000 because they do not make the effort to look externally and practice interviewing. Regarding point 2, no matter if your work is subpar or excellent, be coachable, look to improve your work, and help your manager. I had major issues with attention to detail for a long time, but people would often give me a break because I was willing to learn and improve. Now I do not have those issues. My work is excellent. 1 bonus point. I disliked being in an office in general, especially for what I was getting paid. I almost quit to go farm multiple times in my first 3 years. But it gets better when you start getting paid more, and you will if you pay attention to my first 2 points and as you become used to the environment. It is not a natural place to be, but you get used to it. Another bonus point. After each successful project, immediately integrate it into your resume. If you do not, you will not be able to nimbly apply to better roles with your resume always ready and up to date, and you may just forget what you did. Hope this all makes sense. Good luck. Story 8. I think it depends a lot on a country. I have been working in a corporate environment for a few years now, and I am not having as traumatic experiences as many others here. This might be because I am not from the United States and I work in information technology. Here are a few tips. Learn to listen and understand other people's priorities and agendas. This will help you in the long run. Be professional. You are in a workplace and it is not family or a small business. Respect other people's time and don't fool yourself into thinking people care about you more than a 3-minute casual conversation every now and then. Never work for free. If there is unpaid overtime, this means there is no overtime at all, so just never do it. In management, people who do overtime are usually perceived as weaker. Be mindful of that. Play to the strategy of your business unit and try to deliver value against it, more than just doing the work you were asked to do. Always present your work. Never allow anyone, whether it is your manager or a team member, to present the work you did. The audience will assume they did it, not you. Learn the art of quickly jumping from high level to low level when approaching a problem. Do you have a decision to make on a project level? Think about how it fits into the whole portfolio of projects and the department strategy. Story 9. People in power can and will break employment laws. I once had a boss who messed with the office clock so she could falsely accuse people of coming in late and berate them. Story 10. What everyone calls office politics is literally just high school for adults. All the same cliques, gossip, egos, and everything that you experience in high school continues into the office world. So just be prepared and do not expect people to be much different. Story 11. Be vocal. Upper management and executives want to hear ideas and solutions, even if they don't end up using them. Just being the quiet person who gets their work done well and on time will never get you a promotion. Speak up. Story 12. You are a number on a spreadsheet at the end of the day. Also, forget them, move around a little, and get the pay increase you want. Staying at the same place for years rarely equates financially to jumping around. Story 13. Learn email corporate speak before you write something that will ruin your reputation among the higher-ups. I had one guy curse me out in an email that was copied to his boss and his boss's boss. He didn't last long. Story 14. In most places, your opportunities for advancement have very little to do with what you know or how good you are at your job, and very much to do with who you make friends with. Story 15. Don't trust anyone. You will get backstabbed. In fact, there are plenty of people, including your boss, who would be perfectly nice in person but stab you in the back whenever it suited them. Forget you, Anna. Story 16. Find what level of responsibility you're comfortable with. Managing people is challenging. I disliked it but did it well. Leading projects is challenging as well but can be rewarding. Pick the ones you're invested in and you'll be happier. And keep your eye open for lateral moves. That management position took a lateral transition to information technology. Same pay plus overtime, and now I get paid to play with Velcro under your desk. 1,000,000,000 times better than management reports, strategic plan meetings, and doing 14 performance appraisals a year plus mandatory one-on-ones every month with each one of them. Story 17. I had to work about 20 years to figure out that about 75% of management has poor people skills and should never have become managers. The inadequate executives or managers have a strong tendency to support and hire people who remind them of themselves. Some managers have a strong drive to hire others who are less competent than themselves in order to not feel threatened by the new hire. I'm old enough to know now that if I don't connect with the manager on some level during the interview, I should turn down the job when it's offered, provided I already have a paycheck coming in. Story 18. Here are a few I learned on my way from the lowest paid position to the highest paid position within our companies. Treat people with respect regardless of their pay grade or position. It's okay to be friendly to your employees and employers. Understand the fine line between being respected and being walked on. Personally, I don't hang out after work with any coworkers or employees unless it is work-related. But I do my best to be pleasant and friendly at work. Empathy tends to work better than anger. Attempt to understand before you have an opinion. There is a lot of depression in the corporate workplace. Acknowledging that people exist with a simple, "How was your weekend?" goes way farther than you think. Work to live, don't live to work. 2 ears, one mouth. Listen more than you speak. For the most part, sleeping with coworkers is a bad idea. Stress on most part, I didn't follow this rule and ended up getting happily married. Lastly, don't get so comfortable that you can never move on to bigger and better things. None of us are getting out of this alive. Make your life one for the history books. Edit. I forgot one of my most important rules. Find something you admire about your coworker and focus on that. Even if you don't particularly enjoy their company or outlook, focus on their strengths that help you and let them know you enjoy that. They tend to step up and appreciate you as well. Story 19. Be careful how you criticize work. I was rather crudely critiquing something when I was younger. I thought some random person had done it. It turns out it was done by the person I was currently talking to. A bad look. Be respectful and give constructive criticism when appropriate. Try not to gossip. Be careful with joking around. Never joke via email except things you are comfortable with your management and human resources seeing. Human resources works for the company, not you. Story 20. I'm sure this has already been said, but work to live, do not live to work. If you died today, they would have your job posted before you were in the ground. Make your life about something else other than what you do between 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock Monday through Friday. Story 21. That quiet, unassuming lady in human resources, finance, or office administration that no one is interested in or makes an effort with. Make a little effort with her and be courteous and engaging. Those people are very useful to have on your side and often know more than anyone else about the ins and outs of the business. A regular smile, a good morning, or small talk can go a very long way when office floor plans are reshuffled or deadlines are missed. Speaking from experience, real-life examples. Story 22. Don't engage in social networking, except LinkedIn, with office teammates. Never speak negatively. Remember, no matter how close you think you are, and no matter how much they call you a family, you're not. You're a paid employee, and the moment you are not necessary or valuable to the business, all that family talk goes away. Being close friends with people at work has actually made working harder at times. Perceptions are very difficult to overcome. If you want to move up the ladder, sometimes you have to leave. The longer you stay, the more concrete the perception of you becomes. Story 23. While I wouldn't say it's true everywhere, in many places, it's not what you know that will get you ahead. It's who you know. Those people who know others up the chain of command have an easier time getting raises and promotions, even if they know less or put in less work. Story 24. Know your value. Your company will pay you what they think is market rate, as low as they can, so they can make as big a profit as they can. Use every tool you can to get new skills and training to increase your value not only to your company but to any other opportunities that come in the future. Do a good job, but don't have blind loyalty to your current workplace, because if you die, they'll have your job posted the next day. Story 25. I got lucky with my mentors and the people around me, but I'd offer this advice to anyone. Exposure is just as important as your competence if you are ambitious and want to climb the ladder. At times, you could be the best, most talented worker there, but it will mean nothing if you don't have any exposure. You'll be the person who keeps their head down, flies under the radar, even though you get things done. No one that counts will know you in a bigger organization. So, make what you are doing known. Talk with management and senior management. Take the opportunity for public speaking. Suggest solutions, not only highlighting problems for others to fix. Whatever you can do, at least consider it. Push yourself and put yourself out there. Take the opportunity to be known across the business for what you do, what you're an expert in, and you are much more likely to be considered for progression. Story 26. It's a big game and super disconnected from reality. Adults can act like toddlers. Do enough to not get fired, and promotion is probably more about being friendly with your manager than doing exceptionally good work. And if you're not getting a promotion, then just leave the company. Most new companies will care more about years of experience than the promotions you received at previous employers. Story 27. Didn't read through all the comments, so I apologize if I repeat any. You are 100% replaceable no matter how valuable you think you are or really are. That doesn't mean don't try or don't progress. Absolutely do those things. Just don't expect your company to care when it comes time to downsize. And it will. It always does. Corporate camouflage. Dress like they do. Talk like they do, such as reach out, sync up, circle back, etc. Emulate those you respect, but remember it isn't you. It's just an act. Don't become corporate. Don't get attached. You will meet some great people during your career and may even stay in touch with some, but for the most part, the people you work with will be work friends. Even if you go out for lunch or drinks often, if someone leaves, it is unlikely you will hear from them again. Don't get too personal at work. Let everyone else go on and on about their spouse, kids, vacations, whatever. Be polite and give back a little, but I would advise against going into detail. If you don't have one already, get a LinkedIn profile going. There is no better way to network that I'm aware of. Network. This is easier than ever. Make professional connections. This might seem contrary to points 3 and 4, but you're not networking to make friends. I could go on, but I'm slipping into talking about things you didn't ask for. Man, all that seems cynical after going over it, but it's what I've picked up after over 25 years in the corporate world. Edit. This pertains to the American corporate world only.